Well, this is so absolutely disgusting that it's almost beyond belief. Just how low can a Labour government sink in its desperation? Yes, of course, they're in trouble. They're well behind us in the opinion polls. But frankly, to say that I would do anything that would in any way aid and abet people like Jimmy Savile is frankly just, it's so below the belt, it's almost not true. But all of this is, of course, deflection. Deflection because we were told from the very start, and by the way, it's not the Labour government that have passed this legislation, it was the previous Conservative government that have passed this legislation, which is why you've barely heard a squeak out of them. But if it's designed to protect children, then I sense it may very, very well have been drawn up by people who don't know what they're doing. I did ask Peter Carl for an apology, but he's gone out on X and he's not going to back down. Well, you know what? I've asked for an apology. We're not going to get one. I think perhaps the best thing we can do is to sign the petition to repeal the Online Safety Act. That's what I'm going to do today. I think it makes sense. I'm deeply worried about the implications for free speech. And what is absolutely clear to me is a problem that runs right through British government is that legislation passed by the Conservatives, supported by Labour, no doubt aided and abetted all the way through by civil servants, none of them have got a clue what they're doing. With people like Zia, we've actually got the real expertise. So, Mr. Kyle, can I have an apology, please?
So a VPN is a virtual private network. What it allows people to do, including kids, is to spoof, basically trick a website into making it look like that user is from a totally different location. So you can go on a VPN, happy as Larry, tap Holland, Denmark, USA, whatever it may be. And as soon as you've done that, you defeat not just these age controls that this legislation has brought in, but it also defeats, really important, and if you're a parent, it's really important you know this, if you're using your internet service provider's parental controls or monitoring systems, the ones that Sky, Broadband, BT, they'll provide you, it defeats those too. And as you said, it is the tech-savvy 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds who will run rings around these ministers, who frankly dinosaurs, who don't get this stuff. And I want to go a step further than that. Not only does it send young people to VPNs, which also then, by the way, takes them in much more likely to go into places, the dark web, which make the ordinary web, not that there aren't horrors there, pale in comparison. It's a nightmarish hellscape. One of the things this Orwellian piece of legislation does, Nigel, is it makes the incentives for any social media company and management team skewed so that they're just going to over-censor. So 10% of global revenues is one of the penalties, jail time for management teams. And, you know, the notion that this is just about child safety, you'll have to explain to us why Section 44 of the Act exists, which allows a single government minister, a single Secretary of State, to unilaterally order Ofcom to rewrite the rules on a whim without parliamentary scrutiny. You'd have to explain why Section 179 exists, which creates a threshold where it is illegal to say something you know to be false, which causes non-trivial psychological harm. Think about that as a threshold relative to incitement for violence. And by the way, we know this Labour government, and I know the Tories who birthed all of this and passed it, this Labour government love locking people up for things that they say. So you'll notice nothing we've talked about involves making British people safe.